What men really want and what they really need is peace.
My boyfriend of 7 years refuses to marry me.
The guy I'm dating now, we're on the exact same page about wedding, and he does not want to marry me.
The men who want to be married are already married, and the ones that don't want to be married are the ones left.
The biggest scam that the world has ever seen is marriage.
Why do you think guys no longer want to get married?
A lot of you guys are shitty wives.
He don't love you unless he marries you, okay? He don't.
You think that American women are unmarriageable?
Most American women are wired for divorce.
A lot of these women ain't.
The marriage game has changed. Men aren't your ticket to retirement.
I'll never forget the advice an older, wise woman gave me once. She said, "Sweetheart, always marry a man that loves you more than you love him." Something to think about.
Then he shouldn't marry you. This wise woman is not wise. This is called divorce. I wish you guys didn't get the man money after divorce. Wish. This is false. A lot of women ask for this kind of relationship, but in the end, they all leave. If you show her more affection, then she shows you. She will look down at you. She will not see a masculine man. She will see a man she can control and make him do whatever she wants. One of the guys in the comments said, "I did that, unfortunately did not work out for me." This may be just one example, but this happens to men all the time. You can love your woman all you want, but do not let your emotions for her give her power of you.
The reason why men seek loyalty in a woman more than anything else is because we live in an age where a woman will initiate divorce with a good man that has sacrificed for her and for his family. She will even admit that he's a good guy, but she's just unhappy. She's bored. She's hit a midlife crisis. Her hormones are out of whack. But what's messed up is that she just wants to be rid of the guy that she views as in her way of the excitement and change that she wants. But the difference is that a loyal woman will continue to value the qualities of a good man through her own unhappiness, her boredom, her midlife crisis, and her hormonal changes. She will not make a permanent decision based on what she knows is temporary feelings. And that is exactly what a good man needs.
If a guy really wants you, he will pursue you, and nothing will stop him from that. I don't care if you think it's his religion, his parents, his job, whatever. Stop it. Like that, none of that matters. If he loves you, if he values you and wants to make a life with you, he will go after you. That's how they're wired. Women try to complicate it. And we go, oh, it's complicated. It's got a lot of different things going on. No, women are complicated. Men are not in this area. And we've heard it from so many people, but I think we still need to hear it. We make excuses for it because we can't bear the thought that they didn't want us. But at the end of the day, it's much better to face the truth. And the truth is they didn't want to commit to you enough because they didn't pursue you, and then you can let it go and move on.
You pursue or chase someone because they are running away from you. If she likes me, she will reciprocate my energy. No, we won't. You have to show us you want us as much as we want you. If we feel unwanted, then we will walk. Regardless, you have to make an effort. I am not pursuing any of them. It's not worth the pain and heartache. My peace is way more valuable. You should never chase a woman. Remember, they're the ones that wants the ring. If you approach a woman and she denies you, just keep moving forward onto the next. Going back will only fill up her ego. Remember, if she really likes you, she will not play games with you. She will make it known through her actions, and that's a woman to respect. All of these girls who's talking about pursuing and chasing are just adult children. They're only looking to play tag, and you do not want to be it.
What men really want and what they really need is peace. You need to be his peace. A man's job is to provide for you. He's gonna be operating at high stress levels, and the last thing he needs is to deal with your toxic drama bullshit. He needs to come home after working hard all day to provide for you. He needs to come home to peace. You need to be comfort. You need to be his peace. And the older I get, truly, the more I understand this. You can literally be the hottest girl alive, the hottest. But if you are drama, if you are toxic, if you are just constant, he's gonna dip you so fast you can't even blink. Men don't like the drama. So if you really want to tie a man down, stop focusing so much on your looks and start focusing on yourself. Start focusing on how can I provide him peace? How can I provide him stability and make sure I have everything locked down here so he can go and deal with his high stress job to provide for us. Looks aren't everything at the end of the day.
Do you think that American women are unmarriageable? Or are there certain women out there who do have the quality?
Get those safe spaces ready, because this just might hurt a few feelings. Because there's a lot of American women that will never be considered marriage material, because quite frankly, a lot of these women are just too selfish to be in any kind of long-term relationship, let alone a marriage, because the amount of time, effort, and self-sacrifice, and yes, that's by both parties in that relationship, that is required to make a marriage work, does not often occur to those individuals who often only think about how to get ahead financially or socially and tend to view relationships as strictly transactional, as a lot of American women do. Not to mention that a lot of these women also want to go into these relationships being treated like princesses and queens, but yet do not bring anything to the table except for their looks and a sense of entitlement. And yes, there are exceptions to this, of course, but by and large, that is why a lot of American women will never be considered marriage material.
My ex-fiancée once told me she shouldn't have to change, compromise on anything, because it should be my job to change. One of many red flags I missed. Facts. My ex-wife used me for a ring and wedding only, her words. We divorced 3 months after a 5-year marriage relationship. Many women view relationships as transactional until sex time is involved, and then it's misogynistic to expect women to be intimate. It's easy to get a man, but it's hard to keep a man. So a good-looking woman who has been single for 2 years is a red flag. Under a month hookups don't count. It just seems to me marriage is hurting a lot of people. One of the main reasons why these men aren't getting married is because these modern women are so selfish. They try to make everything about themselves, forgetting they have a partner. Their number one goal in marriage for them is to walk away with everything you got. Now, why would a man take such a risk knowing this? That's why the passport bros exist. Get your money worth.
A man truly loves you, he will solve your life problems. Not know, oh, that sucks. He will get up and he will say, what do you want? What do you need? How can we fix it?
This is 2023 in a nutshell, homies. I watched this and I wondered what bothered me about it. And then it hit me. There's too many people out here worried about what they're not getting. I mean, yeah, I'm sure it'd be great for a man to solve your life's problems when you're not busy pushing him away. Because the last time I checked, love is someone who makes you feel safe. Somebody who listens. They acknowledge healthy differences without trying to change you. Communication is healthy. They encourage you to do your own thing. Both people are making an effort and both people compromise. And last but definitely not least is mutual respect. Because if you think that a relationship is going to have love and thrive without respect, you're lying to yourself. So just remember, the next time you're talking about what he should do, what she should do, what they should do, a good relationship starts with you.
You can solve all her problems and she can still leave because she found that one small difference elsewhere. I don't know why people seem to think it's someone else's job to handle their problems. Energies should match, not be up to one person. They always talk about what a man should bring, but all they have is an attitude and bills. First of all, you should not be depending on nobody for your lifestyle. You should be looking to build together with that person. The only thing I notice these women bring to the table is even more bills and baggages. They're all looking for a problem solver to handle their bad decisions.
Nowadays, men are saying they want a feminine woman. Over and over again, they're asked, what is feminine? I haven't gotten a clear answer, not from a man's perspective. So last night on a live, shout out to y'all who were watching it, I asked men to define feminine. Finally, we got an answer. So here are the 12 traits of a feminine woman. Get your pen and paper ready, folks. Let's get into it. Soft, caring, loving, nurturing, supportive, submissive, understanding, peaceful, pleasant, selfless, guided by a moral compass, God-fearing, empathetic. Now, ladies, I want you to hear this with an open mind. You may not agree, or you may think it's a lot. This is what they want. And men are entitled to their preferences, just like we are entitled to ours.
A lot of you guys are shitty wives. I'm sorry, you are. You don't cook for your...
Pearl was right about one thing. I was a shitty wife. Married and divorced twice before 30. Come holler at your girl. Here's the real question. Why are 70% of women initiating divorce? Why are women divorcing men? What do y'all think?
I'm glad she brought this up, because every one of these women seems to think because 70% of women initiate divorce makes it automatically the man's fault. Well, what about this?
I could not resist, so I had to look it up. From the Office of National Statistics, from a 2019 study, in ever-increasing numbers, we are now at a lesbian divorce rate of 72%. So the top 4 reasons that they are reporting getting divorced is feeling ignored, inequality in the partnership, adultery, and domestic violence. Personally, I feel like this lends some weight to men's arguments and complaints about how women are behaving in relationships. Because when you have lesbian divorce statistics that look like that, the girls are kind of telling on themselves.
I can believe this. My sister-in-law gets married like 6 months into a relationship, then divorces 2 months later. This is her 4th marriage. As a lesbian, women aren't as great as they think they are at communicating. They've just been socialized to think they are. But men are usually blamed for everything. All this says is it's not only the men. Women need to look at themselves too. That number is pretty high, if I say so myself. And by the way, the gay men marriage divorce rate isn't even that high. It's only 16% compared to the women. So who's really the problem?
I prefer not to get married to an American woman is because most American women are wired for divorce. Many of them come into your life just to divorce you. They are okay with going through a divorce. They are not willing to take any hit. Any little thing. I'm about to go to the car. I'm about to go to the court and get a divorce with you right now, man. I ain't playing with you, boy. I don't want you no more. I'm going to check out this relationship. I do not want to go through that. Most American women live on fast food. Checkers, KFC, Popeye chicken, and, McDonald's. I do not want to go through having to buy food every day outside. This is one of the reasons why I would prefer to get married to an African woman, because African women, they have been trained to make food in the house. They have been trained to stay in relationships no matter what happens. It's very difficult for an African woman to get a divorce.
After hearing this woman commented, "He wants a well-trained doggy wife." Even after listening to what that man said, this woman still had an issue. The way modern women in America see marriage is not the same as people from other countries. They think marriage is just labor duty for the man. Those women were born in a household where they teach them on how to be a good wife to their husbands. No wonder why most men aren't getting married. These modern women think they've become doggies once they're married.
Some of y'all been calling me delusional. I call it manifestation. Speak it into existence, babe. Speak it loud and proud. He will be coming back. He will be asking me to be his girlfriend. He will be saying that he was in love with me since day one. He will be asking to marry me. He will. You know why? Because if there's a will, there's a way. His name was not Will, but there is a way. Listen, I just rewatched the video. My therapist needs to reply to my email. It's been a couple days. I'm unwell.
You need help.
The passport bros seem to be a hot commodity nowadays, so let's just go ahead and get straight into it. This is another case of black women not minding their business. Y'all didn't care about meal order brides until black men happened to make it popular, but of course you feel entitled to being the BBC commander when something no longer benefits you, although these are the same men that you said you didn't want, didn't need, and they are broke. I'm gonna be honest, going overseas to travel frequently and live does not equate to broke. But then again, this just simply speaks to the delusion and hypocrisy of women. These men have been very clear in their message. They've said time and time again they wanted wives, someone they could build with, start their family with, someone they could create a legacy with. What y'all heard was they wanted someone that they can control. Y'all minimize being a wife simply down to being a slave, even so much as telling those other women overseas that they're uneducated and practicing sex tourism. And in turn, a lot of y'all have took your degree and traded it in for an OnlyFans profile. Nobody said anything when women were going to Dubai. We know why you were going. Nobody said anything when women were flying state to state getting flued out. We know what you were doing. Nobody said anything when Nigerian and Jamaican men needed green cards and y'all started falsifying marriage documents so you could drive your Range Rover with your red bottoms. Let's just call a spade a spade. Y'all wanted the option to go back to these men after the man that you really wanted was done dragging you through the mud.
That was beautifully said. By the way, this woman received a ton of hate for speaking the truth. But the truth of the matter is, if men aren't finding the women that they want in the West, they will go somewhere else to get it. These women have shamed and disrespect the very men they say they didn't want. Something isn't right here. Make it make sense.
Reason why a lot of women will never be a wife. It doesn't matter how good you look. It doesn't matter what you do to enhance your body. Makeup, you could slap on makeup. A pig will always be a pig in a lipstick. And let me explain something why I say that. You could go get weight loss surgery. You could do everything. You could put on a push-up bra. You could fix your body. You could do whatever you want. But one thing you will never fix is your mentality. That's why a lot of you guys won't get wifed up. The way you think and the way your mouth is. You guys could be the most beautiful, attractive woman, but your mouth is the reason why a lot of you are single up to now. The way you talk to a man, you feel like you could talk to a man any kind of way. And that's the reason why a lot of you will always remain single. I don't care how beautiful. You see, a lot of you guys are hitting the wall in your 30s and being up on TikTok crying that you can't find a man. And a lot of you still look good. You know why? It's your mouth and you already been ran through. That's why you have a lot of miles on you. Facts.
I will say, a lot of pretty girls can attract the most successful man, but her beauty can only take her so far. Without developing character and having feminine traits, these women will never end up married. It's just not what the guys are looking for.
If a guy is over 30 and he's not married, then there is something wrong with him, okay? According to Darwin, it's a natural selection. What about us? We are 30 and we are still not married. That's not the same for women. We're just being selective. That's different.
Not selective. I think leftover women. Number one cause of divorce in the world is marriage. I'm 25 and the fear of not being married by 30 is haunting me. I'm in crisis mode. Men age like wine, women like milk. Women are born with value, and men have to build value. Women is auntie after 30, and men are still boys. It is most definitely not them being selective. Those women who aren't married are the independent ones that don't need men. They're the ones who's out every Saturday partying their lives away. The story changes though once they reach 32. They start yelling, "Men don't want me," while ignoring all the good guys. They think they can settle down whenever they want, not knowing that they're in a competition with younger women.
Maybe like in the future, divorce rates will go down because people were just kind of marrying like
Super
one person
early.
like early, and like they weren't seeing like testing the waters between so many people. And now like people date so much, like you like meet so many people,
Which is also a problem though, because then you're always in the back of your head and you can be like,
is
there's
there something better?
Yeah.
But like, or you know what you want more, like you know.
I don't know, with the fucking men that we've been dealing with this past weekend, I don't know if the
So
divorce
true.
rates are going to go down.
Messages and emails I will commonly receive from men. My wife never ever says good morning, hello, or anything to me really. She just takes me for granted. I'm just there. Basically, the only time she says anything to me is to bark an order at me. Why? Well, she's not wife material. Sorry, you married a broken one. Or men will say, anytime I say anything that approaches the world of romance or even, God forbid, sexuality, my wife becomes irate and angry and violent at me. Why? Well, she's not wife material. Sorry, she's just a broken person. My wife will say when I reach for her to give her a hug or to give her a kiss that I'm being extremely needy and I'm like a little broken boy and I need to cool it. Why does she say this? Because she's not wife material. She's a broken person. I'm oversimplifying here, I know, using the term broken, which isn't necessarily fair. But here's the deal. Not everyone on the planet Earth is wired for a long-term relationship with another human being. It takes a special kind of person to do that. And a person who is very quote-unquote avoidant in their personality, which is they don't like any kind of interpersonal connectivity, as soon as it gets personal and emotional, they just back off. Those people are not very well wired for a romantic relationship with another person, especially with a person who does enjoy those things. Now, two avoidant people can get together, sure, and I'm sure they can live a long, I was going to say healthy relationship, not necessarily by my standards, but I'm sure they can live a long life together and they're happy, fine, whatever. But that ain't most of you out there. Most of you out there enjoy, God forbid, actual emotional and physical intimacy with your partner. And if the other person says, ew, yuck, get away, they're not wife material. Sorry.
I cannot fathom telling a lover that they're behaving like a broken little boy whenever he needs intimacy. That is so demeaning and hurtful. Whenever I discuss a problem I have in my marriage with my wife, she turns it into something I'm not even talking about. She only listens to react. Just went through a divorce. I felt like a failure. Listening to you has kept me sane. You've brought a lot of light to topics I needed. Thanks. And this is why it's very important to choose a good woman. All of these men are just silently suffering in their marriage. Why put up with it when you can find something better? Just listen to all of these messages from those guys. It's just sad. Why would your woman get mad at you because you're showing her affection? It's honestly just a sign of her getting tired of you. And that happens in marriages after a long time. But if it keeps on happening, that's when you know the love is fading away. A lot of people get married and forget they have a duty to uphold as the wife or husband. That's why these marriages don't work out.
All right, y'all. Question is, why are men saying no to marriage? Number one, perception of the loss of freedom. I pray that none of you guys choose a spouse that makes you feel like you have to lose yourself in order to be with them. Number two, fears about potential divorce. Number three, unwillingness to make the sacrifices that marriage requires. Number four, men today can get the benefits of a connection with a woman without commitment. Thank you, modern dating. Number five, there is not a lot of messaging about how marriage actually benefits men. It's from what we see in media. It seems like it's just a contractual agreement that benefits women. But we know there are some benefits. And there are some strong male voices in the men's space have and still advocate for marriage. Again, y'all, I know this ain't popular, but I do believe the enemy is at work in our marriages and in destroying families. And I don't want him to win.
Marriage was the worst thing that ever happened to me. The sacrifices I'd have to make in my life along with the cost and risk far outweigh any benefit derived from it. Never marry. I've seen enough miserable people to know it's not worth it. I loved being married. I hated being lied to, cheated on, stolen from, inappropriated, unsupported, and feeling alone in the marriage. Why enter into a contract where one party benefits greatly by breaking it? The enemy is most definitely at work, like she said. But the ones destroying their marriages are women. 70 to 80% of women file for divorce when things are going wrong in the relationship. Why not fix it if you truly love each other? These men's eyes have been opened and they see marriage for what it is. A big one-sided scam that only benefits one person. The only way it seems to keep your sanity is to stay away from that. However, if you do plan on getting married, pick your partner carefully, or you will live the rest of your days regretting it.
Let me tell you, if a guy says to you, I want peace in my relationships, if he says, I want a drama-free relationship, if he says, I just want things to be easy, run for the hills. Run for the hills immediately in that moment. Just turn around and walk away.
But wait, there's more.
I think any man that their number one requirement for a woman is for a woman to be his piece, you just know you're dealing with a true fucking menace to the dating pool. Because what the fuck do you mean you need me to be your piece? If you gotta ask for peace, you're a piece of shit. Honestly.
And they wonder why there are so many passport bros. Oh my God. If he finds peace in your relationship, you're his person. These women are insane. When a man says he wants peace, he really means that he can't provide her with the level of chaos she requires for her emotions. My ex left, abandoned our kids and me for a toxic drug user. Now she's mad I went to court with the receipts and got full custody. In other words, they bring chaos and you dudes must remain quiet. Run away from these chaotic women. I guess a man asking for peace now is too much. Some men barely even get respect from their wives. Imagine coming from a 12-hour shift and you have your wife to deal with. Keep in mind that peace is created, fellas. If she's bringing drama and arguments into the relationship or marriage, you need a new woman.
I mean, what if I don't want to live the way you live?
Oh, don't be ridiculous, Andrea. Everybody wants this.
What advice would you give to your younger self?
Don't get married. You're free, man. You're free in the world, so don't get married, please. Forget about population. It will grow automatically. Don't get married. Don't lose your freedom and individuality. And your pride, man. You're a man. You're always wanted. I'll tell you. You're always wanted. But once you got it, you're jailed.
Rings truer even today. Marriage is a contract, and in some cases, a life sentence. The earlier you understand that, the better for you. The older generation of men in my family always told me this, and I listened. Even Buddha named his son Rahula Feta Ankle Shackles and ran away. As an equally old man, I affirm this opinion. I learned too late that marriage destroys men. Man had that answer locked and loaded, answered before the question was asked. This is coming from a man who has been married. As long as you work on yourself, fellas, you will always win. Always be desirable. These marriages are destroying men. The whole purpose was to come together and be one as a family, not to become a business to support women destroying their marriages. Even prenups in some cases don't even help. Be wise.
Women are initiating divorce because men are not doing the work to become emotionally intelligent. My husband and I are separated. We started working on our marriage in January of 2023. We started marriage counseling in June. He actually worked really, really hard at first, and he no longer works nearly as hard because it is hard work. I decided in December that I want to follow through with the divorce. I felt extremely guilty at first. He did ask me what he could do to save our marriage, and I told him exactly what he could do. And his response was he didn't have time or money because his job was more demanding in December, and that he does what he can and what his body will allow. And that's when I no longer felt guilty. If he had emotional intelligence, I would not have received any pushback. It's sad because I really thought his emotional intelligence had grown, but that showed me it hasn't.
Is this woman serious? She gets on the camera and give no information as to what happened in her marriage. What I'm getting from this is that she's divorcing her husband who's been working hard for the family because his job got harder and it's taking a toll on his body. I don't think she understands what emotional intelligence is. A lot of women who are asking for an emotional intelligent man are women who can't handle their own emotions.
So sometimes guys say this is why fewer and fewer guys are getting married. Also, fewer and fewer women are getting married. There's fewer and fewer marriages. People not getting married when they don't really want to is great. That would be fewer divorces.
The most underrated red flag a man can have is if he backs into parking spaces when it's not necessary to back into the parking space just to show off. Like, really? That is the definition of I bet your daddy's so proud. Like, that is what you have to show for? I'm not impressed that you can back into parking spaces. Literally not one bit. Like, wow, you're so cool. Why would you ever think that's a cool thing to show off? It's just crazy. Don't go out with that guy.
A lot of you women are like, but I want to get married. And y'all are like 22, 23. And y'all are trying to marry 25-year-olds. And what 25-year-old man do you know that rushes to the altar? They're still trying to have fun. And they don't get emotionally attached. They think of you as, oh, one of my girlfriends. Oh, you're going to be a girlfriend. You're going to be my girlfriend. Then I'm going to break up and go explore some new options and have some more girlfriends, okay?
Why are women more likely to initiate divorce faster than men? Good question. I got an answer for you. Let's get into it. Women tend to test higher in the trait neuroticism, one of the big 5 traits. This trait means that women are more sensitive to negative emotions, i.e. deep levels of anxiety. 1 unit of stress, there are several units of negative emotion attached to it. What does that mean, Sam? Women are more likely to feel unhappy faster. Because some women tend to ruminate, i.e. focus on the negative, find it very hard to get out of that negative space. Some researchers think that because the world is a more dangerous place for women, and that women have had to care for dependents, that neurotic trait helps them to be more sensitive to negative emotion and negative environments to care for their children.
They initiate divorce faster than men because they're tired of communicating to fix the marriage. Once she reaches that point, all she wants is half of everything that you have. Some of these women look at marriage like it's a business and not for what it is. Once these women make up their mind to clean you out, the love is gone. Marriage is continuous work. Some of these women just be wanting the wedding, but not the marriage. Be careful with who you allow into your life.
54% of women cheat because they're unhappy. That unhappiness that leads to women cheating, and then essentially women cheat to get out of relationships, that just speaks to how, unstable that marriages typically are. Women initiate divorce at a higher rate than men do. So that commitment that's made for sickness, and in health till death do us part, that commitment is supposed to be honored. So when a woman feels that she doesn't love her husband anymore, or she's bored, or whatever the case may be, those pillars of those principles are supposed to stand. A lot of people don't know how to properly vet. When they jump into relationships in the infatuation stage. They're not prepared for, oh, we're going to have these disagreements. Here's where our personalities don't align. Here's where our values don't align. And the minute those things rise to the surface, they want out. And typically it's the woman first, because the woman is the one who gets fed up first. She's the one who gets irritated first. She's the one who gets annoyed first, and she wants out.
What are the requirements?
What are the requirements for a wife? Well, she's got to love the Lord. Has to be traditionally feminine. Are you shaking your head at that?
Keep going.
If a woman loves the Lord and she subscribes to biblical values, she will understand that it is the man's job to lead the family, provide for the family, and to lead the family under the headship of Christ. And it's the woman's job to submit to that man's headship in the family. So a woman that's cool with the idea of submission. Now, a lot of women have issues with the idea of submission, understandably so. What I would be bringing to the table in a scenario like marriage is actually being worthy of submitting to as a man, right? Earning her submission through good leadership.
Of course, she doesn't like to hear that. When a woman hears submission, it's like their nerves has just been hit by a truck. They want the marriage, but don't want to uphold the boundaries in the marriage. Submission is like a word they're afraid of. When a man says submission, they think labor. Modern women view marriage in a terrible light. Marrying them is just not worth it. Get your passport.
My boyfriend of 7 years refuses to marry me, so in every single book that I've written, the couple ends up getting married. And I end up calling my boyfriend the love interest's name while we're... Maybe he'll get the hint.
You need help.
You look pretty.
What did you say?
I said you look shitty. Good night, Denise.
The guy I'm dating now, we're on the exact same page about weddings because I don't want a big fancy wedding and he does not want to marry me.
How am I supposed to live, laugh, love in these conditions?
You want to be with someone that can hold a good conversation and add something to it.
If I can have a conversation with her, but I don't need a girl who's like got insane charisma and can tell good stories and has a witty comeback to like everything.
Okay.
It's a very low priority.
Okay.
I don't care. I care about other personality traits. Chiefly, does she bring me peace? That's the most important thing personality-wise a girl can bring me, because I have a very stressful job. The last thing I want to do is have a girlfriend that's always wanting to argue.
Yeah.
We're always in some sort of conflict. The biggest thing a girl can bring me personality-wise is peace and calm.
Okay.
It doesn't matter how many times it's said they will never get it. A man values peace over everything else. Whatever else you want to add onto his life is great, but that's not what he values the most, especially after hours and hours of working. He doesn't need a nagging woman at his ear.
And why young men especially are hesitant to get married is because for a lot of men, they don't see any benefit from it. You're just putting yourself at a disadvantage. If someday she could say, you know what, I'm not really feeling this anymore. I'm going to divorce you, but you're still going to be responsible for paying for me for the rest of your life.
Like I said, I'm pro prenup, and alimony is not gendered. It's literally a formula in most states. And so in a situation, I do think if a man wants to get married, you should think about this. You should think about this possibility. But I don't think that it's fair that a woman who has given up so much in order to be a homemaker shouldn't have any shouldn't have anything. She should just be left on the street.
I agree that if the husband told the wife to stay home and watch the kids, then she should be able to receive some financial support. But only if he told her to stay home and watch the kids, because she's probably given up her career to do that. So she should be compensated.
Because it's iconic. And I love to do iconic shit.
I've been with my boyfriend going on 8 years since school. We've had 2 homes. He's a pro footballer. I've had my own business for 4 years. We have dogs, an apartment in London. He won't marry me. It's my dream, like a deal breaked the same as wanting kids. Oh, it's like a deal breaker. So if you're not going to marry me, then this is it. Yeah, I want a marriage. If you don't want to either, I wouldn't have started my life with you, I'm thinking. I've set myself a promise that if by July 1st he's not proposed, I'm leaving. I'm finding someone who will and going to Ibiza with the girls. His season will have started by then, so he won't be able to propose abroad. And that's my dream. And that means waiting another year if he's not done it by July 1st. Some people get engaged after 8 fucking months. So why am I waiting 8 years?
She sounds immature. Some women are so desperate for marriage. He doesn't want her taking all his money when she wants a divorce. At the end of the day, a wedding is only for a girl. A guy ain't fussed one bit about it. Don't get married, guys. It's a scam. Men gain nothing from it besides a girl who thinks marriage will fix holes in the relationship. The reality is you can't force or bully us way into marriage. He probably doesn't want to marry you. Why do some women care so much about marriage to the point of ruining a perfectly fine relationship? Her relationship is going great after 8 years, so why is she in a rush to destroy it? But the guy is probably having second thoughts because of all the things that's going on with marriage today. A lot of these women want the wedding, but not the marriage. They always have a deadline to get things done, thinking the world revolves around them. There's a lot of risk in marriage for a man. Maybe he's thinking if taking the risk is truly worth it. Nobody wants to lose the things they've earned through hard work after all. Just like this woman says right here, they already have a marriage life, house, dogs. Men are logical thinkers. He probably doesn't see a reason to just get paperwork and a ring. We were together for 8 years since high school before he proposed. He wanted to wait until we could afford it. Every relationship is different.